We're in Paris. Luc Besson is the director. He has made a number of films that you know about, including the film Nikita, including The Professional. His new film is called The Fifth Element, starring Bruce Willis and others, and I am pleased to have him with us as we continue our conversations from Paris. Welcome. Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Paris
welcome in Paris.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here. You actually were born, what, a few miles outside of Paris?
No, I'm born in Paris.
Yeah, but grew up?
Grew up in Yugoslavia and Greece,
yeah.
For the first 10 years. Then go back to civilization.
Yes.
Center of Paris.
Is that where you developed this love of the sea and the water, which came from that early film you did about the water?
I'm still wet a little, I think, from this time.
Tell me about The Fifth Element, just simply because much talk about it. It comes out in the summer. It's a hot, big film. America takes great pride in the fact that America makes all of the big action films, and then you come along and say, no, that's not quite true. Here I am, and I can make these films.
Yeah, the purpose was not this one, was not to bother anyone. It was just to, no, I have this story in my mind since I'm 16 years old, so I just have this fantasy in my head, and I think Americans really know how to make big sci-fi and action movie, and some of them are excellent, and some of them are maybe, on the same, kind of range and the same, and
some of them are terrible.
And yeah, thank you to say it. And maybe the funny thing was to bring, from Europe we have a kind of different culture about comics or about the paintings and about the poetry and things. It was just to bring a little European touch in the same kind of story, just to show another face of these sci-fi movies that you usually see. So I think it was just interesting. The funny thing, for example, is it's to show the opposite of an American normal type of movie. Is the movie is very large at the beginning, 23rd century, everything's changed, 400 flying cabs everywhere. And the more you go in a movie and the more you realize that it's about a man and a woman who has to talk about love, and the final scene is like the shots are like this, just between a man and a woman. And this kind of movement is not typically action American movie. And I mean, it's just good to open a door and to show something else.
And dialogue?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
You actually once made a film in black and white in which there was very little dialogue. What was the name of that?
The Dernier Combat, The Last Combat.
Yes, it was almost your first film, wasn't it?
It was my first.
And you didn't have a whole lot of money, so you didn't give them a lot of dialogue.
I don't have at all money.
You, in fact, applied to the French government, I guess, some arts commission or something, and said...
No, they give me nothing.
They gave you nothing?
No. No, in fact, I was with my co-producer, called Jolivet, who play in the movie, in fact. And we just take the phone book that we have, call everybody, and say, okay, if you have some money, you can have, if you give 10,000, you have 1% of the movie. If you give, 100, you have 2%. And then we sell parts of the movie to people who get some money. So a guy from a travel agency got a bit of it. A guy who sells shoes on the Champs-Élysées get a part of the movie. A friend of mine who has a car accident, so he's got a lot of money from the insurance. So thank you for the insurance who take 20% of the movie. And that's how we produce the first movie. The funny thing is, nobody in the French business and no one at the government give anything. They don't believe in it at all. And the movie just appeared, boom, like a mushroom.
Was it successful?
It was quite successful, but we got like 12 prizes around the world. And the movie was like a kind of little door open for all these kids who was in my back and who wants to make movies. And suddenly it was possible to do a movie with nothing, and it changed quite the mentality. After that, producers start to say, oh, wait a minute, we have to be more careful with all these little mushrooms coming from everywhere,
Yeah, but interesting, you could take a leap forward from that whole idea to looking at the Academy Awards last year And most of the films were independent, and that garnered all the attention. I mean, they said there was only one real true Hollywood film, which was Jerry Maguire. Also had a certain independence to it. But English Patient was an independent film, essentially.
I think it's a good move from the business to push a little, because I think if you want to keep the people in theaters, you have to be on the top all the time, propose new things, open doors. You can't just have one mood and say, you know, Lethal Weapon 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 12.
Yeah, right.
You know, you have to take risk. So as soon as you know that it's working, then you can do maybe a sequel or two. But you have constantly you're obliged to, you know, looking for new audiences. And you know, the audience are now, it's not like one big audience. If you have 12 movies in a complex, in a multiplex, you can have 12 audiences.
Do you find as much satisfaction, and even more so, making a big budget film with a sci-fi film like Fifth Element as you did making something that's lesser budget, like The Professional, like Le Film Nikita, like...
It's an interesting question, because in fact the circle around the camera is 5 meters, 15 feet.
Yeah.
And
what does that mean? That means that you can only shoot within...
Yeah, you globally, you know, I'm at the camera, I have a first assistant,
right,
a guy who pushed the traveling, one guy for the sound, the script girl, the actor in the front of the camera, and that's it. That's
right.
Your circle.
Yes.
So whatever is the budget, it's always outside of this circle. Because on the circle, it's like at the end of the mine, you know? You have your hands and you have your tool and you have to extract the diamond. And one guy can do it with a tool, and that's it. You know, and I really have the feeling that this moment that you try to extract from the actor, to print on the camera, it's very physical. And that's the only moment, that's the only magical moment. On the back, at the outside, if you have 200 technicians or 600 technicians with big salaries or not big salaries, it doesn't change anything. You still have to extract from the actor what you want to print. And I always feel the same, since I've made 7 movies and it's the same circle, and most of the time it's the same people in the circle,
yeah.
except the actor.
I noticed, in fact, looking at the credits for The Fifth Element, there were people that had worked on, I think the cameraman for The Fifth Element is the same cameraman you had on either Le Film Nikita or The Professional.
Yeah, both. Yeah.
Both.
The
okay.
DP, in fact.
So you bring a kind of ensemble of your own to each project.
Yeah, kind of.
Add, subtract, but
yeah.
kind of.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Do you, the writing of the script, are you involved in that?
Yeah, I wrote it.
You wrote it.
Yeah.
You wrote The Fifth Element. Did you write The Professional?
Yeah.
Le Film Nikita?
Yeah.
So you only make what you write so far?
No, yeah, I would love to save 2 years and find something already made. But yeah, I love that. I love to write. I love this period of writing. I love that because, you know, you bother nobody, yeah. And you can write. The 500 horses just arrived. No, the 2,000 horses arrived, and you know you bother nobody. You know, you can just add it, and that's it. Then after you fight with the producer, and at the end it's the 50 horses arrived. But no, I love this part. But I would love to get a script, you know, and fall in love and say, wow. I think if somebody brings me one day like a Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest,
yeah,
or Amadeus.
How about The Lost World? Would you have liked to have made a film like that? No, because it's a sequel.
No, and because Steven is really the best to do this type of film.
At Dinosaur Stories?
No, he's the best because he still have this key to go in the kind the little teeny part we have where we're still a child.
Yes.
And he has the key. He knows how to come in, and I lost it now a little. I'm still a little naive about that.
And he hasn't lost it.
No, he
has not lost it.
No, yeah,
That's
exactly.
part of him that still knows how to connect. It's the awe and wonderment of a child.
Yeah, and that's brilliant that he knows how to do that.
Do guys like you, young, up-and-coming filmmakers, look with a certain what about Spielberg. You don't. You know that people have said that you're a French Spielberg. That has been said about you. Without speaking to that, what is it that young filmmakers look to about Steven Spielberg and say, "Wow"?
I don't know. I mean, they say that maybe because of the
Yes, of course. That's it. That's it.
No, the good thing.
He doesn't ride his own motorcycle, though. You came here in a motorcycle.
Yes, so that's a big difference.
That's a difference. Yeah.
I think, Steven, the thing we have to know as a director is Steven can do everything.
Yeah.
You
Schindler's List and Lost World.
Yes, he can do everything. And it's very reductive to say, oh, Spielberg is just good to make, big commercial movie, because it's wrong.
Yeah.
This guy is one of the most brilliant director. The funny thing is, so he can do everything. He can make the English Patient with, a hand here on the back of his, just like this.
Well, don't say that, because that makes it look like that it didn't take much to make the English Patient.
Yeah, it takes a lot, but Steven is really very, very strong as a director. He knows, he's very impressive. The funny thing about it is what he wants to do, because he wants to stay sometime a child and he wants to do things, who move and things. That's why I think it's amazing, and that's funny somewhere, because he can do everything, in fact, but he chooses to do that, and that's very powerful, because most of the time directors are talented for a kind, which is my case, for example. I'm maybe talented for a certain kind of movie, and I will maybe feel uncomfortable to go outside of it.
Well, also he's 50 and you're 39,
yeah,
right?
so I still have
So
time.
you have some time. Where do you see your niche? Do you see yourself making certain kinds of films?
No, I
There's
think
a similarity between what started as Leon and became Leon,
Yeah.
and then became The Professional,
Yeah.
and something else that and La Film Nikita. There's some similarity between those two films.
Yeah.
Focus,
Make a movie,
character.
make Atlantis. That I spent 2 years around the world film
Right,
fishes.
right.
So it was quite different. The Big Blue was quite different. I think I have an attraction for emotion, from the basic, struggle of life and emotion, and I'm very attracted by that, and the contrast of it all the time. A symbol, for example, will be in La Femme Nikita, when she goes for her birthday and she's so happy and she opened the thing and it's a gun, and she has to shoot 2 persons. That's my field. I love this kind of contrast all the time, and you laughing, and 10 minutes later you have tears in your eyes, and oh my God, what are they going to do?
And 10 minutes later, you're fighting for your life.
Yeah, I love this kind of thing where you're really taken by the movie and you can't. In fact, my goal is to stop people eating popcorns. I want them.
Don't say that. The theater owners are going to go nuts when you say
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, I want them to buy it, take it and stay like this for 20 minutes because they can't eat it. That's my goal. I love that.
Do you like to go to the theater and watch people watch your movies?
I do that all the time.
Do you? Do you really?
Yeah.
Looking to see how they react.
Yeah, I
and
love that.
do you find that they all react the same or they react different?
Everybody reacts differently. It's very funny.
Everybody.
Yeah, different countries and things. It's so funny.
Americans are different from French in terms of what they like.
Yeah.
In
Much more. Americans are much more light. I mean, when they're laughing, they laugh more.
yeah.
But they maybe they are less involved, in the story and the meaning of the story and all this. They less involved. They eat popcorns. They want to. they don't want to be involved too much.
Why did you go into movies? Why was film the thing that turned you on?
In fact, I'm not a deep moviegoer.
No, and you don't have the same background that
No.
people like Steven and others who've wanted to do this for a long time.
No. I just fall in love with movie business at 17 years old. I went in a set of a friend for a short movie, and I've seen the ambience. I've seen all these people. It was a Sunday, nobody was paid, and everybody was working as hell. And I say, wow, I want to live here. Sounds, I don't know, they just do that for the movie, and I was very impressed by that.
Can you think of what it might be similar to, I mean, you're painting a picture in your mind and you're putting it on film. You're telling a story.
Mm-hmm.
What's it like to direct a movie?
I think it's really like we were talking about extraction sooner. So it's really like to get a stone who could be a nice ring, you know, and you get this stone and it's just, you know, a big stone, but you feel that, you know, if you cut here and cut here, you can make a nice diamond. And it's the same feeling because it's very pragmatic somewhere to direct. It's shot by shot, minute by minute. You know, okay, I'm going to do this shot and I can cut with this one. And the actor, and, you know, he's in good shape today. I'm not going to make the scene now. I'm going to wait a little. He needs to warm up. Oh, this actress, she's hot. Okay, let's do first her. You know, it's very sneaky in the same time. Because it's just about this moment that you have to catch and print, and that's it. You know? So it's between the guy who cut the diamond and the magician.
Yes.
You know, who just, hop, rabbit, you know? So it's a strange job.
Bruce Willis.
Yes.
The star of this film.
Yes.
He brings what to it? He brings people to the theater because if it's action-adventure, most of the action-adventure films he's made have been popular. So the audience is, from the beginning, interested in what he's doing.
I think my first thing, I always try, most of the time I always try first to be honest, you know, because it's a good thing to do.
Right.
So I take the script and I say, okay, let's say it's a fairy tale. And, you know, this little girl come from the sky and say, Luc, who do you want to play the part?
Yes.
You know, and I say, okay, if really I have the choice, I will say Bruce Willis, because he has this kind of hero thing, you know, he can take a gun and shoot, and he's credible about that. But he's also very charming and very human, and, you know, and the character was like this in the script. And Bruce was the best for me because he can really play both. And most of the part I liked the most in the movie with him, it's especially when he's totally shy with the girl and he doesn't know what to say, and, you know, that's the part I prefer because it's, and he's
because you're showing it works. It goes against the grain of the
it's the
action
fragility.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I love to show that women can be strong, and most of the time, I like to show that men can be fragile.
You said an interesting thing once about that. You think that we really ought to turn the world over to women in the next century. Didn't you say that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Do you remember saying that, or something like that?
Something like that.
Basically, you said men have screwed it up. And you just said, I like strong women. Just go with me for a second. You said, I like strong, you know, you just said you wanted a woman that could be strong, yes?
Yeah.
But you had said somewhere in an interview that I read.
No, I said that we should put women's to give the power to women, and, and we should go in the holidays.
Yeah, well, that's pointedly, put them in charge and let them have a whack at running the world,
and
because we men had screwed it up, and go to the beach.
Yeah, and we take care of the kid. I would love that. You know,
would you love that?
Yeah, spend my day on the beach with the kids. Are you kidding? And put them in the government. You know,
and let them deal with the politics, and let them
be... because, I don't know, you know, when they're really in charge of something, they have this... Maybe because, you know, they have the possibility to give life. So they have maybe a better sense about what life means deeply. So when the time comes to say, okay, let's press about this bomb, or let's build this weapon, maybe they, you know, even if they can be strong and protect the country, they have a kind of little sense about what it means to build a life. And I think it's a big thing. That's why I think they are better than us for big responsibility.
Man, every woman in the world just fell in love with you.
That's exactly what I want.
You thought this out, didn't you? Character, though. When Bruce Willis said yes to this film, you said yes. I mean, the idea that you had your lead choice. The little girl comes down with bringing you the fantasy, and you said, if I could have anybody for this film, it's Bruce Willis. And Bruce Willis said, you know, give me all the money. Show me the money and I'll do it.
No.
He didn't say that.
No, he said the contrary.
He
He
said,
take the script, he read it in 2 hours, and he said, it's great. Let's do it.
Now, how
And
long?
I kiss him.
Yeah, you kissed him,
Oh,
right?
yeah. I take him in my arms, and I kiss him.
See,
Because it was so, I mean, I've just seen an actor, you
Yeah.
know, an actor who read the script and who liked it and
Yeah.
say to the guy, it's great, let's do it. It was so simple.
There was no committee, no agent, nothing. Let's go.
Yeah, we were just together in the kitchen, and it was so, you know, I love this kind of moment because it's amazing from everything we know about movie business and agents and all these things, and at the end, you know, you meet one of the 10 best stars, and it's still very human and very simple. I mean, I will always be faithful to him for that because.
And after you had Bruce Willis, getting the money, getting anything was easy. He was an additional.
It was
close the deal for everything.
The movie was greenlighted before.
Really?
Yeah.
At $100 million, or what, or 60 million, or 70 million, or
Yeah,
whatever, somewhere in there,
yeah.
between 75 and 100.
Yeah.
What does having made The Fifth Element do for you, for your career?
Honestly, I don't know.
You know, you don't care about that either.
I don't. Yeah, I presume it's changed something if I measure the pile of scripts that I have now, and the price they offer me now, which is you know, much more better now. So it's probably changed something.
Yeah. Did you make it though because it was the fantasy film that you first conjured up in your mind when you were 16 years old, or at least the idea, the rudimentary idea? Or did you make this film because I wanted to make this kind of movie because it's a nice next step for me as a film director?
No. If you watch my 7 movie, I always go boom, boom,
Yeah,
boom,
that's
boom,
true.
boom, boom, boom. Budget go up and down, and sometimes it's very, you know, Atlantis, it's really like a poem, very quiet, you know, and then Léon is just after the professional, and Big Blue is about 2 divers,
Right.
you know, falling in love with dolphins, and just after it's La Femme Nikita, and you know, one thing has nothing to do with the other. I think probably my next movie, you know, will be totally, you know, I don't know, maybe 17th century black and white, you know, probably something like this, you know, because I think I think it's my job, in fact, to attract people, you know, open new doors all the time and say, yeah, you like it? Okay, try this one.
Yeah.
And try this one. And sometimes they don't follow, but they still watching you because they know that you always try something. So they keep, and that's what I like with the audience, is they keep aware of what
they
you're
basically
doing.
say, I like this, and when you say, well, let's push over here, they're saying, okay, let's go with Luc to try that.
Yeah, now, because they make money with my 7 movies, so now they believe me.
You don't give much quarter to the studios. I mean, the stories are legend about you, in a sense, exercising almost total control.
Yeah, I'm a spoiled child, I know. No, it's just a relation of trust. We were talking about that. When the movie is ready to open, and they have to decide the trailer, the poster, the title of the movie, I trust them.
You do.
You know, they say, this is the good poster, this is the good way to promote the movie. I say, okay, I believe you. So I'm just expecting in the other way, when I have the script and I know what I want to do with it, if sometime they're confused and say, Luc, are you sure about that? I say, yeah, I am. And I expect from them to believe me, which is, you know, a kind of... I will feel guilty if, when it comes to their area, I will say, no, I want this is not good. And, you know, I respect them a lot, but, you know, you need one person to do one job.
One idea, one vision.
Yeah.
It's great to have you here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You enjoyed your trip in Paris?
Oh, man, it's just starting, too. I can't wait. There's so much to do, so much to see, so much wine to drink, so much great food to have, movies to see.
And that's the
theater,
best.
great
That's the best
exhibition.
season. That's the best season. Spring with you know all the Parisian women's all around.
Yeah.
I know.
You know, don't you? The French Open is here.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Thank you very much. Much success. Nice to have you.